Xenoblade Chronicles is a series full of amazing characters, which are all very well developed. Unfortunately, however, though, not every character is created equally, and there are some that I do feel are a bit more lackluster compared to the rest of the casts of their respective games. So this list is just me saying kind of which characters I felt didn't hit the mark compared to the rest of the casts. This does not mean that they are bad characters, mostly, but just that I feel like they could have been improved, or maybe I just didn't really understand them. And if so, feel free to correct me, because I'd love to actually understand the character's motives if I didn't get it the first time. But yeah, we're going to go in order by game, so let's just start off with Xenoblade 1. I forgot to mention in the opening that these lists are not based gameplay wise. These are purely story and just their character in general. Gameplay will not factor into my decision making because there's always going to be an objective better or worse character in every scenario. Except for Xenoblade 3, that's kind of special, but... So for Xenoblade 1, I feel like even when we're not taking gameplay into account, the only right pick here is Sharla. I found her plot about the whole Gado thing, it didn't really, I didn't feel anything by it. Yeah, it was very boring. It felt more like that just in Mechonis, they're like, oh shit, we need to fill in the gap between Fallen Arm and Agniratha, so fuck it, Gado. And also she's Juju's sister, so that alone is enough to put her down here, to be honest. But yeah, Sharla as a character, I feel, really didn't do anything for me in Xenoblade 1. I feel like this is, I have an opinion a lot of people will agree on. I could be wrong, but character-wise, Sharla is just really fucking boring. Future Connected doesn't really add many characters. It adds two characters, Kino and Nene. And it's obviously not going to be Shulker Melia. They are top tier characters. No way would they be on this list. So it's between Kino and Nene, and I ended up picking Nene, since we're not taking gameplay into account. If it was gameplay wise, it would have to be Kino because he's just a repeat Sharla. But since it's character and story wise, Nene I just didn't really care about. Kino is precious, and I would protect him any day of the week. I'd take a bullet for Kino. He'd probably be the one that would shoot me, but you know, he's the one with the gun. But Nene, her whole character was just Kino's older sibling, and how she wants to protect him and stuff. That didn't really do it for me. And also, she can never be him. She'll never be Rhine Time. Xenoblade 2 is the first game on this list that, like, I struggled to pick a character for nearly. I love the cast of Xenoblade 2. It's my favorite game. Period. So picking a character was really hard. But if I had to pick anyone, it was obviously probably going to be Tora. I used to hate every fiber of that motherfucker's being. Like, I think the game would be better if they just cut out his fucking pervertedness, obviously. Or to cut him out of the game, but compared to the other characters, I just don't fuck with Tora. Some people really like him, and I can kind of see why. He's not the worst. I used to hate him so much. But since I've replayed Xenoblade 2, I haven't grown to love him. But he's more endearing than he is annoying now. I've just come to accept him. And when he's not, like, being a creep, he's okay. Chapter 4 is definitely both a standout for him and his lowest point, I swear to God. Because it's full of the most weird shit. but it's also his best development. So he gets his development. I'm very conflicted on Tora, but he would be my least favorite, but without a doubt. It was still tricky enough to pick one. This, however, was a very easy pick for Torna the Golden Country, 2's DLC. Aegeon. Someone tell me, what did he do? Did he do anything? I can't remember, and I literally played Torna like a month or two ago. All he does is die at the end with Hugo. He doesn't do anything. He's just there. He just stands there. I swear he probably had like 5 total lines in the entire game. Like, and his character design isn't interesting. He's just a common blade, but not. He literally, he's only there just to give Hugo a second blade because they were like, okay, he's the only one that makes sense after Bridget. Like, at least make him look cool. But no, he's just a boring ass character with no lines. It's just kind of annoying. Xenoblade 3 was another one where it was very hard for me to pick out a character because I genuinely do love the cast. But if I had to pick one, it would have to be Lanz. I'm not including heroes in this list because they don't get obviously anywhere near as much development as the main party would. I was tempted to include Riku and Manana, but I decided to leave them out. If I was to include them, Manana would be here, but I'm gonna have to say Lanz for this list. To be honest, I can't really tell. I think this is just me being fucking stupid, but I just can't tell what his character is supposed to be. He's like the Ryan of the game. But then they try to have this thing going on with Yorin, and I actually just fall asleep every time it happens. Don't ask me what happens in his side story quest, because all I remember is Garvel or Gravel or whatever the fuck his name was showing up, and that's about it. Yeah. I don't hate him, not at all. I still think he's a good character, and I didn't actively hate his screen time. Like, I thought what he had with Senna was pretty good. When he acts like a goofball, which is what I thought his character was going to be at first. It was good. I liked that. That was great. But when they tried to throw in this whole yarn thing, I just fell asleep, bro, nearly. It was... I just didn't really care for Urine. Didn't care for Urinal, like, just get him out of my screen. Especially before, at the end of chapter 6. He could fuck off. I wanted to see what was happening after that. Still don't hate Lanz as a character, though. Lanz is fine. And now for the last game on the list is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. And for a second, I thought this was going to be the hardest one for me to pick from. But then I remembered Nicole. I genuinely forgot about him. And I would have said Niall, but she's not really a party member till the post game, and even at that she's like a half party member. So I decided against including her. It's kind of more the playable characters I'm on about. And the reason I included Aegeon and Torna then was because you can play as the Blades in Torna. But yeah, I just found Nicole to be the most boring character in the main party of the DLC, because he's going against such strong contenders. Matthew is a good protagonist. Not the best, but certainly not bad. I really like A as a character. I think she's... or they are great. Going against Shulk and Rex, obviously they're not gonna fucking be the worst characters they're the best ones. So it was really between Glimmer and Nicole, and I had to pick Nicole. You see, while Glimmer, both Nicole and Glimmer are severely underdeveloped in the DLC, which is a shame because I think they had great potential to be very interesting characters. I wanted to see more of them. I really did. But Glimmer is ahead of Nicole for me for the simple fact that she looks like Pyra and acts like Mithra, which is like the best fucking combination known to man, and they have the Numa she's like the perfect combination of all the Aegis girls. And Nicole is just Shulk's kid. There's not much more to him. And that's unfortunate because I like the way he couldn't actually summon a blade and he had to use the weird arm thingies to fight. I thought that was very interesting, and like I thought that would have been a great character development for him to unlock his blade towards the end of the story or in a side quest or something. But no, unfortunately not. And it really is a shame because I do wish we could see more of them. But if I was to put the two of them against each other, Glimmer comes out on top. So unfortunately, Nicole has to take the bottom slot for this one. It would be Niall if I was to include her, but we're going with Nicole. Sorry to all the Nicole fans out there. The grand total of one of you, I'd say, maybe. I don't know. He could be more popular than I think. So that concludes my list, and if you want to, in the comments, feel free to post your own listings of who your least favorite character is in every game. You can post your favorites as well if you want. Even though I'm going to make another video for that, I'd say. But yeah, does anyone agree with me? Is there a character you'd put below another one? I really do want to hear people's feedback because I want to know what the consensus is for the party members in each game. Like, I could either be spitting the most hot takes here, or they could be the most ice cold ones, you know? I'm just curious to know other people's opinions. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.